Hey, you're a financial firefighter, Marco Shiro, and today what I want to talk about is focusing on one market or investing in multiple markets, because that's something that I'm always thinking about. What is my next step, or what should I be doing? But let me remind you, I do work for the Honolulu Fire Department. I do work for RE/MAX Honolulu. All the ideas, topics discussed on this channel are on my own. I'm not a financial planner, but I'm hopefully here to help you get started in your out-of-state real estate investing journey. So let me just say this real quickly. I'm sorry, there's some guys, my neighbor's renovating his house next door, so there might be some background noise, but please don't let that stop you from liking, subscribing, and commenting to my channel, helping me grow so that I can help reach more people and hopefully help other people get on the path to financial freedom. So I'm always trying to figure out new topics to come up with, like what my journey, what problems I may have had. But the other day I put out a tweet and it got a lot of good response from other investors out there. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna bring a little video on this and kind of talk about it and what my findings are. So for a lot of people, I think the biggest thing too is, do you focus on one market or are you looking at multiple markets, right? So I think that's the thing, right? People, there's so many markets out there, right? Even just in Hawaii, we have tons of different areas, right? Every little pocket is like their own little market, right? So it's hard to focus on one, right? So that's the thing, right? Do you focus on one market or do you kind of are looking at multiple markets at the same time? So I think there's kind of two ways you want to approach this. So one is you're gonna find someone that does out-of-state investing, and then when that person shows you what market they're in, now you go do your research on that market and see if you want to also invest in that market. But finding someone that's in that market is super helpful. So use their success, right? Use their success and their strategy, their networking contacts, but you find someone that invests out of state, and now you see where they're investing and you do your own research and see if you like that market. Now, the other way is maybe you break down 4 to 5 markets, right? You look at 4 to 5 markets that interest you, right? So you go on different blogs or podcasts and you hear them mentioning certain markets to invest in. So maybe you have your top 5 markets, right? And now you start doing your research on these markets. And now, same thing, you want to try and find someone that invests in each one of these markets, right? So now you reach out to them, you network with them, and you bring back their information, and you still come down and see which market is best for you. And now I think that brings me to my answer. The biggest response that I got on Twitter was most people believe that you want to focus on one market in the beginning. So whether, like I said, whether you find someone that invests and then you figure out what market they're in and you want to see if you're going to piggyback on them, or you find markets that interest you and now you go out and you find people that invest in these markets and then now you narrow it down to one. So like I said, that is very crucial. I think in the beginning, you want to focus on one market, right? Let's not get spread out too thin. Let's focus on one market, know our market, know what type of jobs, growth is there, what type of taxes is there, what type of regulations they may have, but know that market. So focus on one market. And now that leads me to, how many properties do you want? Do you get like 2 properties and then you might change to a different market? Do you get 4 properties and change to another market? Everybody has different goals, right? Everybody has different plans for their investment. Some people only want maybe 1 or 2 rental properties, and that's what their goal is. Some people have goals of getting hundreds of properties, right? And that's not for everybody, right? So you also got to determine what your goal is, and that's going to help determine your strategy. However, for me personally, the way I'm looking at it is, I want to have a big portfolio in one market before I even consider transitioning to another market. So for me, I want to be I want to be the big fish for my property manager. I want to be important to him, right? I want to have a sizable portfolio so that when I call him, I'm at the top of his list, right? When I call him with something, you know, he's going to reply quickly because I'm a big portion of his management properties, right? Whatever he's managing, I'm a big chunk of that amount of properties that he has. So I'm a big deal to him. Whereas if you only have 1 or 2 properties, right, you may not be that high on his priority list to get back. I mean, of course, they're going to get back to you, but if they have something going on and this is their bigger client, right, they're going to try and reach out to that client first, right? So that's where I'm looking at it, is I want to build a certain reputation in that market. I want to be a big fish to these guys. I want to be where I call them, they're going to respond to me, right? If I call my realtor, right, you know, hey, that guy does a lot of transactions. He's not just going to waste my time, right? So that's what I talk about, networking and building relationships, right? You know, I understand some people want to diversify, right? They go, oh, what, you know, why do you want to go in one market when, you know, doesn't that kind of put a lot of risk that you're in one area? And yeah, that does make sense. And I understand that is why some people like to get in different markets, because they want to have maybe diversification in other areas. And also some people are looking strictly at the deals, right? They're just looking for the best deals, right? So they're just looking for properties that make their numbers, you know, and that's why people might have properties in multiple areas, right? However, in the beginning, that makes it challenging, because how do you really know your market, right? The numbers may make sense, right? The numbers may look good on paper, but what if that is not an ideal rental market, right? What if that has a high turnover or high vacancy rate, right? So the numbers on paper look good, but if you don't truly know that market, you don't know the ins and outs of that particular property, right? So that to me is the risk of trying to diversify too early, right? So for me, it's focus, 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 know your market, know what your buy box is, and really understand and become, like I said, become a big deal to your property manager. So like I mentioned earlier, I know a lot of people talk about diversification, and that's the one thing about real estate, is you can diversify in real estate. And I get it, you know, some people want to have money in stocks, some people want to have money in bonds, other crypto, you know, but for me personally, I think real estate is the best investment class out there. And for me, I want to focus on one area and become great at it before I diversify. So same thing with the market I'm in, right? I want to become focused on one area, and you can diversify in that area, right? You can have maybe one, you know, you can have, like, so you guys should go check out Dion Financial Talk on YouTube. Amazing channel, awesome content. And he doesn't have a huge portfolio. He has a big portfolio for most people, right? I believe he has 7 units, 16 doors maybe, or somewhere along that lines. But he's financially free after starting off in a very challenging position. So go check out his channel, amazing content. But for him, he talks about how you can diversify in one area. So he has, I don't know the exact numbers. Like I said, go check out his content. But he likes to have his properties a certain distance from each other, which are pulling from different tenant base. So he's not going to have all these properties in one area where they're all getting the same clientele from maybe one industry, right? From one hospital or one military base. So that's how he tries to diversify in his certain market, is he has his properties spaced out at a certain distance, and he also tries to diversify his tenant base. So he might have some Section 8 properties. He might have some military tenants. He may have some college students. So he tries to diversify his portfolio by diversifying it in this specific market. So that's another great thing about real estate, is that there's so many ways to do it, and there's so many ways that you can diversify. So you can have single family homes, you can have multifamily homes, you can have short-term rentals, and you can do that all in one market, but yet you're diversified because you're having different type of properties and different type of clientele. So like I said, you know, this topic was just kind of something that popped. Like I said, I put it on Twitter and I got a really good feedback. So I kind of said, you know what, I should make a video on this. And, you know, it's something that maybe a lot of other people have interest in. But yeah, so for me, like I said, I recommend if you're first starting, you know, focus on one market before you start trying to diversify into other areas, right? So every market has potential. You just really got to understand your market. But like I said, same thing comes down to networking, understanding that other people have done it before. So go find these people and piggyback off their success, use their strategies, use their methods, use their networking, use their contacts. But that's why it's important to reach out, right? But focus, you know, focus on one market. But also getting that first one is super critical, because it just allows you to learn so much more by doing, right? Like, I saw somewhere somebody talks, I can read as many books as I want on riding a bicycle, or read as many books as I want on swimming, right? But you know what? I didn't learn how to swim until I jumped in the water. I didn't learn how to ride a bike until I got on a bike, right? So you learn so much by doing, right? So just get that first property, do the work, get your first property, and then just learn and, you know, educate yourself, and you're gonna learn so much in that process. And just remember, you know, nobody knows all the answers. We're all learning. We're still learning. I'm still learning. All these other people out there with hundreds and hundred properties, they're still learning something new every day. So keep that in mind, right? It's baby steps. Get started. Get your foot in the door, and just keep doing the work. But, you know, so I'm gonna put a link to Dion Financial Talk, to his channel below. So go check him out. Like I said, amazing content, one of my favorites out there, part of the One Rental at a Time family. So go check them out, amazing stuff. But like I said, you can also help me out, you know, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment. Like I said, put comments down there, so there's other topics that maybe I can talk about that might be of interest to a lot of you folks. But so yes, you know, just trust the process, and until my next video, just keep looking for those deals.